Hi everybody, welcome back to a painting session. To teach you how to paint a plant. I told a story about my plant paintings. One of my first paintings for Arte por Lola is actually after one of my very first plants that I bought. So they've always been such a big inspiration to me, and paying attention to plants as a collector and as an artist just kind of like became part of what I do and some of the things that inspire me. So I'm always looking for new plants. I always go to botanical gardens. I always try to find different climates and get to know whether plants have like spottiness or variegation or whatever it is that it might have, and then I try to grab that into my paintings. So both of these are from one plant. This one is a little bit more of a focus painting, so I just kind of focused on the texture of the leaf, while on this one I focused a little bit more on the flow and the growth of the plant. So let me show you the plant that it was. Ta-da! How it is that I paint leaves more in this style. You're going to need a canvas panel. This one is just like a flat canvas panel. I've used it in the past and I just went ahead and covered it with a little bit of white paint, make it good as new. And I'm gonna go ahead and draw out a leaf. I'm gonna stick within the same theme of this Pothos. Maybe look at a different leaf on the plant, but I'm gonna stick with the same plant since I've already painted it twice. This way I can really talk to you about how it is that I'm doing it, and maybe you will really understand what I mean. We're gonna start with the palette and we're gonna start with the colors. Our primary, so we have a little bit of a blue, a Hansa yellow, Mary magenta. There are 3 greens it might be that you have. I have this light green, this hooker's green, and this semi-permanent green. I used a little bit of Persian blue and burnt umber. Let's get started with the blending of our colors. Let me get a palette and then we'll paint. Darker shade, so we're gonna take a little bit of, and then we're gonna take a little bit of the light green. And I'm gonna put more light green on this one because this one has a little bit less of the hooker's green. And I'm gonna do just a little bit over here. Well, there's probably this one that's a little bit on the darker shade. I'm gonna add a little bit of this other green. And then I'm gonna blend both of these colors, creating 2 different types of greens. I'm gonna start with this one. Two greens right there. I'm gonna leave the lighter green alone, but I'm going to now start creating a 3rd green with a little bit of this dark green. I'm gonna take a little bit of this color, and that's gonna be my darkest color. Dark green, a little bit of yellow, dip it right in there. This yellow is very yellow, so I'm gonna dip it in with the green. It's still very yellow. Take a little bit of a darker green. And all we're trying to do is create colors that we like. Brush, because it's the same color. And with the white, I'm also gonna give myself a little extra white for whenever it is that I want to use it. So I'll take a little bit of that green, mix it in there. Awesome. We've got a couple of different greens made. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different greens, and we also have a little bit of white and a little bit of black. So this is just water, and I'm just gonna spray a little bit of water into all of the colors. This will hopefully help them take longer to dry. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and we're gonna get to the next step. Okay, we have our easel and we have our canvas board. We have all of our paints, all of our greens blended, which I'm like, is that gonna be enough? But we'll figure it out. We have a little water container, we have a brush, and we have water. We have everything we need to start painting. A little trapito, a little rag so you can clean your brushes. Okay, so with plants, there's a lot to them. My best advice if you're going to be painting a plant today is to have the plant right in front of you and to choose a leaf. So for example, this leaf for me looks very beautiful. It has a lot of different things going on. It has a lot of color splotches here. You can see a lot of the veins to the leaf. There's just a lot going on. So what you want to do is you want to pick a leaf, and then you're going to want to draw out your leaf with a pencil or a color pencil or anything on your paper. I'm going to use a color pencil today. I just have to reach for it. I'm gonna draw my leaf, and I recommend that you draw 1 leaf, 2 leaves, or 3 leaves. So you could draw 1 leaf, or you can look at this viney part and draw like 1, 2, 3, and then go from there. So we're gonna go ahead and do 3. I think I already did 1, and I did like 1 with a lot, so we're gonna go ahead and do 3, and we're gonna go ahead and draw it. Let me get my color pencil. Color pencil. I promise I'm not gonna go behind the camera, or like in front of the camera this time. Let's see. I can do it like this, or I can do it like this. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do this leaf, and they're kind of like hearts. Okay, that's 1 leaf. Think about where the stem comes from, and then the stem leaf, and then we're gonna do the other one. So I'm gonna start with this middle leaf just because I feel like it's gonna be the easiest, and I'm gonna zoom. In. So I'm gonna start with this leaf, and I'm gonna show you what it is that we're gonna be looking at. So basically, if you see this leaf, this part of the leaf is a little bit darker. The top part is a little bit darker, and then there's a little bit of a stripe that's a little bit darker right there. On the second leaf, this whole half has a lot more darker color, and then there's a little bit of dark color in the closer to the center line of this one. And then with the last leaf, same thing again. It's like a half and half. This one's a little bit torn, but you can see it's very white and light colors on one side and darker on the other sides. So that's the first thing you want to notice, is you want to notice your plant, and you want to notice, what is it that I'm painting? What is it all really? And then you want to pick your color. I'm gonna start with the darkest. I always start with darkest and then I move to lightest. I am gonna go ahead and start from the top. Like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and do another blotch right here. blotch up here. And you're just kind of seeing what part of your plant has like the darker spots, what part has the lighter spots. If you see a little bit of darkness over here, just give it a little tap. If you see a little bit of darkness towards the end, just put it down a little bit. Same with the other ones. Like I said, you see a lot more darkness towards one side. Make sure that you're kind of keeping in mind where the center of it all is, and that your brush strokes are keeping in theme and in remembering and in mind the way that like the veins of the plant are, because that will kind of help your brush help you do a little bit more of the work, and then you'll have to do a little bit less of the work, so that is always a plus. So half of that side of that plant has a little bit more of the darkers, and then like I said, kind of right there. So I'm not being too crazy about where all the colors are going. I'm just getting the colors down. And then same with this one. Half of it has a little bit of the darker colors to it. Perfect. Now, without cleaning my brush, but you can dip it for a little bit of water, I'm gonna go to the next darkest color, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of go over the end, deepen the color in a couple places, and put it on the edges. This will help you blend it a little bit more. You want to have a lot of greens, because having a lot of greens will make it look a little bit more natural and a little bit more cohesive. So you just want to kind of find like the lightest color, and my best advice would be to put it surrounding your darkest color, and then you'll be able to blend even more from there. So like here, making sure no paint gets on my sleeve. I'm gonna go a lot lighter, honestly, and start hitting up the lighter spots. And again, with the colors over here, just a little bit lighter, and you just want to kind of get them down, help yourself once you start really going in. Ahora que tenemos a little bit more of the green kind of like mapped out, you want to dejar que se seque ese verde, and then mientras está secando, you can create the stems. And I'm gonna teach you how to throw things to the background in a moment. It's all gonna be done with color. First, you want to get a good amount of green. Go. And I'm not gonna paint these things. I'm just actually gonna leave it like that. I like the shape of that. I like it, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay, all of those colors are really just, you can tell that they still need a good amount of work, and that, you know, they aren't doing very much for the painting. So we're gonna get to blending, and we're gonna get to really building out a leaf. But First, we're gonna let these colors dry. We're gonna go ahead and start focusing more on the leaves, and we're gonna focus on one leaf at a time for this part, and then we'll focus on the other on the next leaf and on the next leaf. So with the same colors that I have on my palette, I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of red onto my palette. These being the primary colors will allow me to kind of drive the color in whatever direction it is that I want. So the blue will make it more of a green blue, the yellow will make it more of a yellow, a yellow green, because blue and blue and yellow together make green. And then red is entirely opposite from green on the color wheel, so we use it to create shadows and a couple of different aspects when it comes to the color green. So make a focus on this guy. I'm gonna use a filbert brush. Look like this. They have a little bit of a rounded top. Again, with the dark, I always start with the darkest colors. So as you can already see, the colors are covering up a lot more. The first layer doesn't do much for us, does it? Except for kind of scare us. I blend a lot of my colors on my brush. By that I mean I don't use too much water. And when it comes to little places like that, I try to do little brush strokes. If any of your colors are seeming like they're not coming down opaque enough, I would add a little bit of white. White tends to thicken the color a lot. We're literally just putting down all kinds of greens. So just keep looking at your leaf that you have in front of you. And keep seeing where the darkest colors are. For me, and this leaf happens to be at the top, and then there's a little bit of that darkness here. And I think that's just because of the way the light hits. And then you want to create color gets built up slowly, and if you feel like you're moving the color around too much, that happens a lot when you're working on wet paint, so you want to like let it dry. And now we are going to start paying a little bit closer attention to how the colors interact with one another. So instead of using a big brush, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to a little bit of a smaller brush. My paint is still pretty wet because of the saran wrap that I used, so that's good. You don't want to only work with a darker color. You want to find the balance. You're gonna find it a lot easier to do little light taps. Let's get a little bit of light.